Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. As you may be aware, Leigh Wood and Mauricio Lara resumed their disagreement at the weekend, the Manchester Arena. This is for the WBA featherweight title, which Wood previously held, and he was knocked out in 7 rounds by Lara, who is obviously the current champion. And this was back in February this year, February the 18th. And you know what? I'm someone who picked Wood to win that fight. And for 5 rounds, I was thinking, I've got this one right. Because I thought Wood, as I thought he would do, I thought he was winning the fight. I thought he was boxing relatively conservatively, maybe a little bit too conservatively, and was sort of containing the obvious power that Lara has. I did think he probably wasn't throwing enough punches, but at the same time, I could sort of understand the reticence, not letting it hang out, not getting too greedy, because Lara, as we know, can end things with one punch. But the fight was going as I thought it would. And then in the 7th round, of course, Lara, as you know, ended it with one almighty left hook. Wood managed to get up, which is to his credit, because it was a hell of a knockdown. And Ben Davison threw the towel in, which is, I've got no problem with that. But Leigh Wood is 34 now. He's got 26 wins with 16 knockouts, 3 defeats. 2 of those are by stoppage. Lara, 25 years old. That's all he is. 26 wins with 19 KOs and 2 defeats. 1 by stoppage. And, the reason I picked Wood prior to the first fight is because if you look at a fight that I think it was against Emilio Sanchez back in 2022, yeah, last year, wasn't it? Lara had some problems there. He was incredibly cavalier, as he always is, firing enormous hooks, enormous power punches, trying to take the guy out, or at the very least, hurt the guy with every single punch he threw and landed. But he was having problems, and he didn't like it to the body. And if I am thinking of the right opponent, because he fought Jose San Martin and he stopped him in 3. But I think this was actually the Emilio Sanchez fight prior to that. Sanchez was giving him some problems, even in the 3rd round, where he got knocked flat, and I mean knocked flat in a corner. The count was waived, but prior to that, only 30 seconds prior to that, he was really hurting Lara. And I thought if Wood could mix his own power, and he's got considerable power himself, with some decent skills, and also stay focused, and like I say, not get too greedy, but have quite a high output. Lots of jabs, mix it up a bit so that Lara can't read you. He can't, don't do it in patterns. Body to head, some slower punches, mix them up with a faster one. Just try and keep Lara guessing and constantly resetting. I thought he can beat Lara. He can actually stop him. My prediction was that he would stop Lara. I can't remember which round I picked, one of the middle ones, I think. But of course, as we know, Lara, it takes 1 second with this guy. He's got the power to knock you flat, and he did that with Leigh. Now, the question is, what's going to happen this time round? Because Leigh Wood, you've got to ask the question, is he going to be gun shy? Because when you've been knocked out like that, it's going to be on your mind. That's not to say that you can't come back. You can't control the demons and actually, override those inherent fears, which are perfectly understandable. Once you accept them, you can deal with them, you can control them. Lennox Lewis did it with Hasim Rahman. Rahman knocked him out. Very, very big upset at the time. And then Lewis came back and won, I think, a round earlier. Rahman won his knockout in 5 rounds, and Lewis knocked Rahman flat in 4. So it can be done. And, Floyd Patterson did it, if you want to go way, way back, with Ingemar Johansson. In fact, he came back after a bad knockout. I think he was on the floor 6 times in that first fight and got stopped, and then he came back and knocked Ingemar Johansson out. And then in the rubber match, Floyd won by knockout again. So it can be done, but it takes a very special type of mentality to do this. And I think Leigh Wood is capable of boxing better. Certainly if I'm not saying ignore the knockout, because you've got to concentrate for every second of every round with this guy Lara. But if he can look at what he did right in those first 6 rounds and try to sort of build on that, then he's got a chance. It's 36 minutes of fighting is a long time to concentrate all the time, and you've got to only make one mistake and bang, it's all over with some people. Deontay Wilder's another one, and with these pure punchers, it's very difficult to concentrate all the time. But that's what he's got to do. And in fact, Leigh hasn't got a bad jaw. I mean, he's not, I don't think he's weak-chinned. His demons will be more than physiological, will be psychological. But if he can actually keep Lara contained as he was doing previously, and not give rounds away, but not gamble on rounds, not feel any kind of urgency, except that I've got 36 minutes. This is the proverbial marathon, not the sprint. And I'm just going to, edge my way in. And if Lara comes on strong, I'll use my feet. I'll, try to offset him. Because Wood, to me, was handling the range and controlling the range quite well for most of that fight. Lara was getting in with some ominous-looking punches, but then all his punches are ominous. He seems to only throw these enormous, full-blooded hooks and crosses. He fires them in bunches as well at times. He wasn't doing that so much against Wood, which was interesting. I'd also like to see Wood go at the body more. He did fire a few body punches here and there, but not enough. From the word go, I'd like to see him firing body punches. Now, of course, we're assuming, let's say, for example, that Wood fights an improved fight, builds on the successes he had in the first fight. Don't rule out the fact that Lara, who I didn't think was 100% in the first Wood fight, he can fight a better fight as well, much better. He can be busier. He can use his jab more. He can target the body more. They say don't hook with a hooker. Well, that would be stupid for Leigh Wood to do, but they also say you can jab with a jabber. And that's what Lara has to do. I think Lara felt the weight of some of Wood's punches and thought, this guy actually does have a bit of power. I've got to be a bit crafty here. But at times he kind of nodded off or was a bit drowsy and allowed Wood to win rounds when Wood wasn't actually firing that many punches himself. I think Lara's got to be much busier. He's got to impose himself from the word go. Absolutely. No. Make those demons apparent in Wood's head. Fight from the word go like he did in the rematch with Josh Warrington until Warrington decided to play, Billy Goat and headbutt him like he always does. Because to me, Warrington looked a bit gun shy in that first round of the rematch with Lara. And I think Lara would, I know it was only a round, but I think Lara might well have caught up with Warrington and stopped him again. Lara's got to do the same thing with Wood. He's got to jump all over him, make him work, make him second guess himself, make him nervous. When you're nervous, your mind's not on your job, you make mistakes, and really put it on Wood from the word go. Even if he's getting, out-punched or out-boxed, keep the mental pressure on, keep stalking, don't go backwards. Keep moving forward, keep Wood guessing, make Wood, drain the mental energy out of Wood by making him think for every second of every round. Concentration in anything is extremely, exhausting. That's why elite chess players, if you look at them, they have a 5-hour chess match, they can lose half a stone. That's not joking. They can sweat like crazy, and they can lose pounds. They can lose, they're exhausted at the end of it, even though they're sitting there looking at a chessboard. It's the same sort of thing in the boxing ring. I mean, obviously, physical exhaustion is one thing, but mental exhaustion, that drains you, and that can open doors for the opponent if you're exhausted. Of course, it can. Make him second guess himself. So I think, all things considered, I think if I'm going to pick a winner, I would pick Lara to repeat his win. I picked Wood in the first fight. I'm going for Lara in this one. I think Wood will not be that intimidated. I think he will box quite sensibly. I think he might find himself on the floor, perhaps maybe a knockdown or two, flash knockdown. But I can see him eventually, Lara getting to him and stopping him in about 8 rounds this time. So similar to the other one, it was a 7th round KO in the previous one. I don't know whether it'll be a one-punch knockout. It could be with Lara, you never know. But I think it's probable that Lara will eventually catch up with Wood, beat him up, and who knows, maybe the towel will come in again. I just don't see Wood able to do all that he needs to do for 36 minutes. And as I say, he is 34 now. which for a featherweight isn't young. And Lara at 25 is probably coming into his prime. If he's not there yet, he's damn near it. And he's on this roll of knockouts. But that's not to say Wood can't win. I think Wood can win. I think Wood has a good chance for the reasons I've given. To me, bodywork is absolutely key. If Wood goes to the body, he'll give himself a much better chance of winning. But God, it's difficult with this guy. This Mexican guy is such a tough little sod. But leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Who do you think is going to win? Yeah, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the subscribe button. That'll be a big help for us, and the like button as well. That helps us. It's great that you watch the video. I always appreciate your time. But I'm looking forward to this one. Like I say, leave your comments below and I'll reply. All right, thanks for now, and I will see you soon. Bye then.